Hey everyone, so this is part 2 of prompt engineering series. Again, we are following the thread on the basic prompting techniques. In this video, we're going to learn these 20 tips and tricks on different ways you can use these keywords or elements within your prompt to get better outputs. We're going to go through multiple examples like this, like understanding how you can incorporate elements to make better task clarity, role definition, persona, tone adjustment, things like that. You are in for a treat. I hope you find it valuable. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. If you have watched the part 1, you can particularly skip this particular chapter of explaining what is prompt, but I would say it doesn't hurt listening to 2 or 3 times so that it these concepts are ingrained in our brain so that we consciously use these whenever we think about prompt and prompting. So first and foremost, what is a prompt before understanding prompting techniques? A prompt is a set of instructions or a message that you give to an AI like ChatGPT or Copilot. And these instructions are given to do something for you. Or if you want something, you are giving that instruction to the Gen AI and you're expecting an output from it. You can think of it like a super smart assistant who follows exactly what you say, but only if you are clear and detailed. So if you give a vague explanation or not good with your communication, you get a vague response because you are not clearly articulating your need in a right way. Similarly, this assistant we are talking about is super smart. It comes with lot of skill set. Like it can create images, it can transform document, it can find information for us, it can format information for us, it can do many things which I as an individual cannot do all by myself. So if I learn how to clearly articulate in a detailed format to this smart assistant, this is going to give me a much better result. That is prompt instruction. Next, learn about what is prompting. Prompting is giving the direction to AI. Just like how you give direction to a person if somebody asks you for a direction, here using prompting, you are clearly telling about what you want. You are explaining the context or giving a background of information. At the same time, you can set the boundary, like you can incorporate constraints and things like that. We will talk about that. We will see much more example in the coming real life example. And then you can tell them to adopt a persona, like you can assume as a persona, or you can tell that you can create an output for a particular persona and things like that. Why is prompting important? First and foremost, to be very simple, good prompt gives you better responses or better output, and bad prompt is going to give you actually going to give you bad output. I'm going to slightly polish it and say that it's going to give you confusing or messy answers. So it's like garbage in, garbage out. How can you learn how to ask the right way? It's going to help you determine like how to save time. It is going to get you better answers, and you're going to incorporate using this generative AI within your life more creatively and powerfully. It is either going to boost your productivity or it is going to find things for you faster, and you're going to make it really useful in your personal life. So learn how to use this by asking the right way. Let's look at some of the key components needed for a great prompt. I'm not going to go through this in detail because we have quite a lot of examples in this particular part. We are going through 20 examples incorporating all of these elements like task, role, audience, tone, context, format, styles, constraint, purposes, iteration. Sometimes we are going to use combination of one or two or three into a single prompt to get a different output. Here the output is not that important. What I'm trying to show is how you can incorporate these sort of an elements within your prompting technique so that each of these elements can determine what sort of an output you're going to get. So that is what we are going to learn here. Let's look at some of the tips for great prompting. When you are a beginner, I would encourage you to start really simple. Ask questions in a very straight format. fashion. Don't try to add a lot of elements into it. It's like an example given before, like, hey, create an image of dash, or help me understand what is natural language processing. Leave it at that. Then you add details or add supplemental information like, hey, now can you help me understand this, how you would explain it to a 10-year-old in a funny way. Or you can assign a role saying that, hey, you assume a role as a science teacher and now explain that to a particular kid. So now you are introducing persona into the mix. Then be specific. Things like ask for a particular summary or comparison table or an email list for that output you have got. And don't worry, always use the iterate functionality or iterate feature, because the more question you ask, it is going to refine and give you much more fine-tuned result, because there is no limit or number of things you can ask. So go ahead and like feel free to ask as many questions as a follow-up question on top of it to keep the conversation going to get much result. And know your goal, like what you are trying to learn, build, or solve. Like have that clear crystallized idea in your mind even before you put that into the prompt. So don't think of prompting is a magic. It is definitely a skill which you can learn. When you learn, just constantly practice it. That is going to improve your prompting skill. And all of these components and the elements which I'm teaching you today, it's going to be crystallized in your mind so that you don't have to like forcefully think about these. This will come naturally to you when you start prompting into these technologies. So if I could use an analogy to explain the prompting, it's like ordering at a restaurant. If I go and say that, hey, can I have some food? I will sometimes get a random food. But if you say that, hey, I want a spicy veggie burger with some sweet potato fries, then you're going to exactly get what you wanted. So the more specific you can get, the better the result you're going to get.